All right, let's try it again. Okay, let's try it again. Having some internet issues again here at the park, and it bounced us off and on, and I have no idea if I'm even on. So we'll try it again. And 1-1. Sounds like that's on. All right, let's go. Let's go. We got plenty to talk about here. Monarchs Mocha 3-2-1. Here we go. Not my best open, but all right. Here we go. Let's bring this down. There we go. We should be fine now. I'm tethering on my phone. Oh, yes. All right. The groovy coffee music. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. Here we go. Let's roll. We got plenty to talk about today. Monarchs Mocha, the show. Dan Vaughn with you. Brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company in Kansas City. 6 locations. And big launch today, by the way, at the local Price Chopper. I didn't get down there, but I had every intention of it, but I was doing honeydews, picking the wife up from the airport today. There's that. So yay for me. Yay for us. Hope you guys are doing good. All-Star break in the books. That's good news. We're actually playing baseball tonight. Baseball. It's what we do around here. And it's now the time. We mentioned this last weekend. That we're in the point where we were at the actually mathematical 50-game mark came over in Lincoln. When we left the series in Lincoln, I told you guys on Sunday on the broadcast that we were on the backside of the season. It is now the downhill slope. We've got downhill. There's a lot of ups and downs ahead. As a matter of fact, after this series in Lake Country tonight, which I don't want to get too far ahead of our skis here, a huge road trip coming up in Milwaukee and in Fargo. One, a team you're chasing. Two, a team that says figures to be contending. And a team that, two teams you've already faced this year here at this park. And a lot of road games left in the month of July and August. Very heavy early home schedule. And it will balance out. It'll balance out in August because you will get that almost every other week kind of deal that we do in August. But July is going to be very heavy away from the park. This 3-game series here, and then it gets a little dicey until the very end of the month. I mean, you've got a big chunk, of course, the All-Star break in the middle of this thing, so there's that. But you've got a very big chunk of July away from this ballpark. So a lot of exciting things ahead, a lot of ebbs and flows ahead, and a lot going on here. Tonight at 6 o'clock on Monarchs Live, I will break down which was going to be a lot of stuff coming your way today that I'm not going to get to all the day because it all has All-Star breaks are like this. You shuffle the deck chairs, so to speak. There's always some changes here and there. And I expect this afternoon that we'll have some odds and ends to kind of go through and say these are the things. What I can tell you is this. Now, I mentioned this over the weekend. I didn't mention it in these terms, but I mentioned this to you over the weekend, that Matt Hall returned to the ball club and was coaching, went out the mound. When he did go out the mound visit, he went on the mound visit, and he was there. And I could not act like he wasn't there. I knew he was there. Matt Hall back from the Giants organization. Matt Hall will pitch tonight. He'll start tonight in the rotation. So Matt Hall is back. I can tell you that. That is something that is official as the roster will reproduce it this afternoon, but that'll be on he'll be on the roster probably the top of the hour, or now a minute ago, in point streak. So Matt Hall will start tonight. Thorpe goes tomorrow, and then it will be on Sunday or Sunday. Again, it feels like Friday because we're playing tonight an opening series. It's Thursday, and then it'll be Hartman going on Saturday, and then the opener there in Milwaukee will be Harris. So there we go. got my days mixed up there again. That Sunday off day, which is coming up this weekend, is bizarre. We've had a couple of those over the years, but forever we never had those. But now we have one, and it's been really bizarre scene. So I will take your questions and comments. All-Star break behind us. Great showing by the guys up there in Chicago. Of course, a come from behind win for the West. So Joe Capietra and his staff getting a win in the All-Star game. Jabari Henry with the home run, and then Jamison McGrain notched the save late for the West team. Probably John Hernandez was going to be in the MVP mention in that game until Jabari Henry hit the home run and brought the West back from the against the East there in Chicago. Monarchs, of course, on the home run derby. I would say well represented when David Thompson hits the walk-off winner in that one. So very Monarch-centric in the All-Star game. And again, those things are fun. It's and I've always thought about this too. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are, but I think you might agree with me, and I don't like your opinion. Is the All-Star game, and I mean in baseball's form, Major League, American Association, in any All-Star format, is it the most pure of the All-Star games? And I would contend, I thought the KC All-Stars were incredible. Their enthusiasm, great stuff. Matter of fact, not just Morgan. And Morgan, her team did a great job of promoting that. But there was also some things in the league. The league took notice too, that our guys were fired up. I just got off the phone with Joe Capietra. I know they had a great time. Talked to John. Hope they were amazing. I talked to John West yesterday. He was pretty fired up too. It was a great experience from all indications. Kevin Luco, with This Week in the Association and the 10th inning blog post, he mentioned how great of an experience it was. All-Star games are fun. They're fun. I've been involved in a couple over the years. It's been a while. The one I remember most is the AA All-Star game many moons ago. We broadcasting that down in San Antonio. And Brian Anderson, who's now the play-by-play voice for TNT and does a lot of CBS national stuff, I was his broadcast partner I was doing what Jackson does. What Jackson does for us, I was doing that for the All-Star game and carried throughout the country. And it was kind of cool. AA was Texas Eastern and sorry about that. Texas Eastern and Southern League. And how long ago was this? It was so long ago that I interviewed before the ball game. I'm trying to think who I interviewed before the ball game. You know what? I'll have to look it up because I just drew a blank. But hold on, this is going to date me extremely well, I think. And it was. Hold on, I'll tell you. I got to make sure this is who I'm thinking of because I believe this is the correct. I think it's the correct person that I actually interviewed. But it was. I'm double checking to make sure I got the name right. Hold on, because I'm pretty sure he was there. But well, I feel like I may be dreaming this. But I'm going to make sure he was there before I actually confirm that this was the case. But okay, yes, he was there. I'm correct. Fernando Tatis Sr., not Jr., was in the AA All-Star game in '96 in San Antonio at the park down there, Wolfstrom Park, I believe it is in San Antonio. And a great experience, but I got to I was the crowd guy going around and interview the fans and the managers and coaches. And Brian Anderson was the play-by-play at the time for the Missions, and who's now doing TNT, like I said, and I got to interview Ty Cobb. No, that was you, Kevin. I interviewed before the ball game. I interviewed Ty Cobb, Shoeless Joe, and then went over and talked to Bullet Joe Rogan and Jose Mendez. I mean, some of the legendary, Oscar Charleston, some of the legendary Negro Leaguers too. No, it was Fernando Tatis Sr. who wanted to play for the Rangers. He was playing for the Rangers AA at the time, and he made the big leagues that year later on. And of course, junior now as a star in the big leagues, and that was in 90. Gosh, it's a long time ago. 96. How many years ago was that? Uh, is that been 20? Has it been 28 years ago? Because 95 All-Star game was in Arlington. I got to go to that as a fan. And then, and back in those days, the All-Star games were the same time altogether. You had the double A, single A, triple A, and the big league games were all the same week. Now they scatter them about. And now, of course, back then, I don't know if the Northern League had an All-Star game, Kevin. They had one in 96. I assume they did. But they're fun. And my question to you is the All-Star game the purest of all the sports All-Star games? Because I would contend it is. The NFL, I mean, the NFL game, they might as well be wearing flags, right? Because they could change the rules up, and I know why, for safety reasons. You know, they don't really tackle. It's not a lot of contact. You know, the hockey, it's sort of been tricked up over the years. It's sort of the same way, a lot of high scoring. And the NBA, I mean, that just turns into a 157 to 152 contest of dunks and who can get theirs and all that kind of thing. And the MVP is almost always the guy that's playing in his hometown. And, you know, you know how it goes. But baseball seems to be the purest ones. And I've been to two Major League All-Star games, the one at Arlington in 95, and I went to St. Louis in 2000, and I believe it was 9 that the Cardinals hosted there at Busch Stadium. And in their competitive ball games, very cool festivities. The 2009 game I recall because Barack Obama at the time, president of the United States, threw out the first pitch in a White Sox jacket. And I remember it was the most security I've ever been to at a ball game because, you know, we're 8 years after 9/11. You have a president there in the ballpark, and they had Secret Service, uniformed Secret Service, doing extra security. So you came through your normal 9/11 security, which has been the norm since 9/11, right? Since 2001, we've done the same thing, right? We've done the same security every event. When they had 2 security things to get through to Busch Stadium in 2009, and I remember seeing the snipers on top of the roof and everything. It was very eerie, but a very great experience. 09 was a really cool deal. Of course, being the Cardinals and just their history there in St. Louis was really fun. And then I guess the 95 one was the service of the sun. It was blasted hot in Texas. And I do remember that very well as well. So anyway, as well. Anyway, my take is the All-Star games and the Association All-Star game for watching it from afar, it seemed like is real of a game that you're going to get in sports when it comes to an All-Star game. Again, I don't think of the rest of them. I would think it's baseball, and then maybe hockey's right behind them, and then it drops down from there to either one. Take your pick, NBA, NFL. I mean, they're both. The NFL is really great about showcasing their event in Hawaii. It turns into a week-long Hawaiian thing, which is cool. The NBA it turns into a weekend-long deal. I've been to an NBA All-Star game too. I saw 2 of those. I got to tell you, entertained, yes. But when I was in Vegas for the All-Star game for the NBA, I was more worried about getting back to the casino than anything else. And the one in Jerry World, I had great club level seats, but dadgummit, I was from here to the center field watching the game. I mean, great seats, and I had great view of I had these great seats for a view of this huge scoreboard that I could watch the game on. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah. Were you that old, Mom, when Babe Ruth passed? Do you remember that, Mom? Did that news reach West Texas back in the day? Anyway, okay. Today, again, a lot of stuff going on here. Lake Country's in town. They've made some moves too. We'll talk about that in the broadcast. They got a few shuffle the deck chairs. Since we saw them last, they've found themselves in the cellar in the East. Now, that's not by a long shot. They're basically a half game behind Cleburne, who's played very good baseball to get out of the cellar. But if you're take your pick. If you're any of those teams, you're Sioux Falls, Sioux City, Cleburne, Lake Country, you're saying, why not us? Why can't we get in the top 4? And that's the goal. And I don't think Sioux Falls and Sioux City can make up ground to be in the top 3 between now and Labor Day weekend. They can get in the top 4. And I think we've seen Cleveland make the move. I think Sioux City and Sioux Falls are bunching up a bit. They've got a ways to go to catch Winnipeg or to Lincoln. Well, against Lincoln in this case, but it's not impossible. And I think that the more likely scenario is in the East, a Lake Country, a Cleburne will sneak up and make that top 4 because the Garys have struggled a little bit. Milwaukee's kind of come back to pack a little as well, though I still expect to see them. I expect to see them top 2 in that league, in that division. I think them and Kane County are going to have a heck of a fight down the stretch, but that's just me looking from this seat right here. But questions and comments, again, I will take those. What to look for? This is what I will tell you going forward. Again, a lot of July ball games on the road, and you really need to get these games on the road. That's going to be a huge part of what this team does. You're going to have to, as Nick slides back in behind us there, quietly. He puts the cap back on, which means when he puts the cap on, he's like a reliever. Puts the cap on, he's going back to business. He's climbing back atop the hill. He's adjusting the sleeves. He's looked down at his shoes to make sure they're tied. He's ready to go. He's towed the rubber, and he's ready to go out and sling a ticket or two. So if here comes a fast, boom, another fastball, boom, another fastball. And instead of fastballs, he's throwing tickets at you. Just boom, boom, boom. They're exploding slider tickets where they are. And then a wicked hook right there. Oh, here comes a group night. Anyway, it's good to be back, though. Good to be back. Tonight, Gates of Swing at 6. Thursday is the promotion tonight. That's the biggie. We got, of course, all weekend, something going on. And I probably should pull that sheet up, and I did, and I had that all pulled up. Let me just pull that up for you real quickly here, folks. Sorry, I was just so sad to talk to y'all that I didn't even pull up the look, find it for you. Talk amongst yourselves here. But somewhere, let's try this. There we go. And let's pull up. There we go. Somewhere here. There we go. Okay, let me pull this up. I'll just read it off to you word for word. I got a lot of different little things open because the game notes have we've been kind of putting together in pieces here. But tonight, Thursday, 2-hour drafts till 8 tonight, and it's also a quality air night tonight. Tomorrow night, Tiger night. That's going to be for our Missouri fans. It'll be tomorrow night, and of course, the craft beer night as well tomorrow night. But again, tomorrow night's the Missouri night. Always fun. Of course, we had the KSU night already. Missouri night tomorrow night. And then I believe we have coming up on this homestand, I can find it for you, a KU night on Saturday. So we got those back to back. So, if you're a house divided, and there's some of you that are, well, I mean, I would be trying to make your night just a little bit better than the one in your house. Just saying. But, all kinds of stuff. Also did a really cool interview with the folks in the lottery, Kansas Lottery, as well. They're going to be doing their show live here on Saturday night. And again, just a lot of stuff going on. And I'll get more of that to you tomorrow on Monarchs Mocha. I just want to kind of catch up with you guys and just give you an idea of what's going on and get the breaking news that we have so far. Do you have, let's see here. Let me get your, yay, my wife just submitted her. Now, I got to explain this. Her comprehensive exams that she just set for a doctorate. The reason I didn't go to the All-Star game is because she was down in Dallas. She goes to SMU doing her doctorate work, pony up, and she has her comprehensive orals this week, or no, comprehensive writtens this week. And they were due, I believe they're due tomorrow, and she had their schedule all lined up. Of course, the air conditioning went out in our house. and it's triple digits down there. So we had to go to my in-laws. But again, she worked in the morning. She worked in her office in the library at the house, and where all of her books are, until it got too hot. Then she got it all knocked out, and she turned it all in. So congratulations to her. So she can come to the ballpark tonight, and that may be why she asked me on the way to the park today. Do you have any of those quirks left in this fridge? Those quirk hard seltzers in this fridge? Well, yeah, we do. From Boulevard, of course. Let's see here. Yes, you know what, Mark? This is a very good story. Somewhere in my collection of stuff, I have a seat cushion from the All-Star game in St. Louis. And the All-Star game in St. Louis, they had these seat cushions, commemorative seat cushions, and they attached them to each seat. And they had, I believe the logo was, I believe it was AT&T's logo on there. And then it had the All-Star game logo on it as well, which was usually All-Star game logos are the team that's hosting and then the year and some kind of, in this case, it was a Gateway Arch and, the background of St. Louis. Well, anyway, there was this guy in a Cubs uniform, Cubs kit, Cubs jersey. Obviously, he's in foreign territory, but it's All-Star games. You wear, everybody wears their team's jerseys. It's one of the few places everybody can kind of get together in their own, Toronto or White Sox. Like I said, President Obama had a White Sox jersey on and a White Sox jacket and cap. I mean, he's the president. He was wearing, and so everybody's wearing their own team stuff at the All-Star game, right? Of course, a lot of Cardinal fans are there, and they're wearing the real. This Cubs guy's got his full Cubs stuff on. He had a few. He decides he was going to grab as many of these seat cushions of people, because people were leaving him and forgetting they were there because they had a Velcro attached to them. So the guy thinks that, okay, no one's going to notice it. Well, I'm standing there, and I'd bought a little thing to hold my ticket stub in. I'd bought, I think, a commemorative ball, a T-shirt, and there was something else. I mean, some little things, and I had my ticket stub in there and a little lanyard for it, because I want to keep it nice. And I had this sack of stuff, and I was reaching down to grab my seat cushion. As I'm doing it, this guy, I hear this rip. You the sound of Velcro ripping. Hear this. I look up, and this guy in a Cubs jersey is grabbing my seat cushion and is making it like just grabbing him. He's got like 6 of them. And I go, dude, and I grab his arm and I go, dude, what are you doing? And I grab him and I spit him around. He's like, no, he's fighting me for my seat cushion. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's mine. I mean, I look, he's got all these seat cushions. So they start dropping, right? Well, I wasn't very good that day as a human being, and I just kind of went boink right across the top of the head, and he dropped the seat cushion, and all these Cardinal fans are like going, yeah, yeah, and turns out this guy had been like just pilfering people's seats of their souvenirs, and let's just put it this way: he got escorted out, and TV didn't. Funny how that worked. But yes, it was a great, that was a cool, granted, that's for a seat cushion, but yes, I love those commemorative things. I've got a couple of things like that, but that's one of the things that I really, really, that I think is pretty cool is that, the seat cushion thing and the little, used to be a huge ticket stub guy too, Mark, but yes, I love those things. I had at one point, I don't have it anymore, but they used to be, you'd get a lanyard, like this, with a press pass. And it was just a generic lanyard, and it had a little tag on it. It was I used to keep all my press passes, all my ticket stubs. Well, now, there's no longer ticket stubs. But I used to have a great collection of ticket stubs of, every game I went to, every press pass I ever had. And I had a great collection of it. I put them in these little end tables that had glass, and you could put them in the glass, like a coffee table, end tables. But again, you can't, now everything's electronic. You get one of these things now, and or they'll give you a card. That's about the only thing you ever get anymore. And the tickets are now on your phone, which is fine. I get it. But it used to be, I love the ticket stub. And it's funny because sometimes season ticket holders, you can get, like for Texas Tech, you can actually get the actual copy of the tickets if you want to have a souvenir copy of the ticket for football. So they've offered me that. Anyway, game day, glad to be back. Yes. Yes, glad to be back. Yes, congratulations, WD. Nicholas, how you doing, mate? Glad to be back. I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing Jackson, oddly enough. I'm kidding. Jackson. Looking forward to seeing the whole crew. Yeah. Yeah, that's a true story. I did clock the guy. Probably the last person I made clock, but that guy, he literally was going through and pulling everybody's seat cushion, and he was in a Cubs jersey, which that didn't set well with the Cardinal fans in the first place. Of course, I was, not a Cardinal fan. I'm trying to think who else I was. Do you guys remember? I was sitting there. Do you guys remember? Well, you surely do. That Marty Povich. He was sitting like three streets to my right. And apparently he had like his nephews there, and they were like Orioles fans. He was decked out in full Orioles regalia. I didn't know this, but I am like going, look at this guy. And his two nephews are sitting to my right. Anyway, good time. That was also right about the time Troy Aikman became number one with Fox. And so he and Joe Buck were in Buck's steakhouse there, Jack Buck's steakhouse there by the ballpark in his private room. And I was sitting at the bar table by myself. This is me. I went by myself. And I was there closing it down, having a filet or something and whatever. And Troy kept walking by, and finally I stopped him. But this is back before the cell phone pictures. And somewhere in my collection, I got a picture of me and Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, but I don't know where the heck I don't know where it is. I don't know where that camera went to. Yeah, that may be where that is, Mom. That may be where it is. So anyway. All righty. Tonight, broadcast time is 6:30. Now, join us at 6 o'clock at the top of the hour on Facebook Live. I may be a little early, right back here. I'll give you the updates and all the things. There's a couple little odds and ends that are going on. Again, Matt Hall will start tonight. He's been re-signed. I do know that. That's the first piece of news I can tell you. Everything else is all sort of, coming at me, and I expect in the next few minutes or next hour or so, because the game notes are sort of on hold right now as we get ready for that. But also tonight, I'll tell you about the Monarchs in 1933. How the Monarchs were doing on this date in 1930. They played a team called the Troubadours. Yeah, the Troubadours. The Troubadours. Can you imagine the Troubadours like theme song for baseball? I mean, what would it have been like? Hello, the Troubadours baseball team is coming at you. I mean, they can all probably do it together, right? Yeah, that is Kitty gets it. Let me get this one here. So excited. Yes, yes, we are excited. Yes, and I know you're very excited. It's a really bizarre, Brenda, and pull the curtain back a little bit. I look up, this is a true story. I'm at the Mill Coffee Shop on Friday in Lincoln. And I'm walking up the street. I'd flown to Omaha from Cleburne, and I stayed over a night because the wife was getting her comps ready. I flew into Omaha, checking the hotel. The team had got there about 10:45. And I'm walking up the street there in Lincoln, and it's a block from the hotel. It's a little incline. And guys coming out of the coffee shop at the same time I am. He was sitting there for a moment, and I'm walking out, and I'm looking to my left, and we're looking at each other. It was Matt Hall. We're like, he looks at me, I look at him, and hey. And so yeah, and that's the thing over the weekend. Again, Matt and I talked a little bit over the weekend, and you're right, Kenny, you're spot on. That's what I said over the weekend, because again, he didn't go out, and he didn't have to go out the mound until Sunday, I believe. It was the first time we saw him out the mound. And so I did mention on Sunday, if you're watching the broadcast on A Baseball TV or listening on MixLR, you would have heard me say Matt Hall, the pitching coach, has come out the mound to visit. And a couple of folks caught that. I think Mark caught it. Maybe, I believe Snito caught it because Snito was sitting there. Snito was sitting there in the front row. He saw it too and did catch it. And that was sort of it. But yeah. So yeah, that's the case. And the odd thing about it is that this is something Lake Country knew yesterday, because Lake Country basically, when they asked me for the rotation, hey, is it going to be this, this, this? And what we do is I exchange rotations with their broadcaster and say, hey, here's who's going for us, who's going for you. Well, he actually asked me, well, will we see Hall this weekend? So I said, I don't know what day, but yeah. So good news there. And it's funny because Kevin Luco had mentioned in his piece, and a couple of the pieces I read in the power rankings that he had, that there was some doubt about the Monarchs pitching staff, despite the Monarchs having the best ERA in the league. Well, I think your pitching staff just got a little better, I would say. I mean, he was the best arm in the league the first quarter of the season, was the best arm in the league the last part of the quarter of the season last year. So, right, well, I think you just got better. And I mentioned this on Sunday that I thought some good things were ahead. And this is what I'm talking about. And I still think there'll be some more developments. Again, Joe never sits around and just sits on his laurels. This is a club that's always, and players want to be here. Of course, Matt's from the area, and he's got a bright future, bright upside, whatever he decides to do, playing, coaching, whatever. And we'll get more into that in the broadcast tonight, perhaps. But I did have a chat with him. We had a little conversation about it, and very insightful, but really good to have him back. And don't discount this little piece of what Kenny said. The fact he's back coaching and pitching. I would tell you that this team was pitching fairly well when he was here and when he was on the road as a pitching coach. And I don't think there's any secret about that. So anyway, last call and questions and comments here. Yeah, tonight at 6:30, we'll be on the air on MixLR. They'll join us on baseball TV sometime around 10 till the top of the hour. Usually they catch part of Joe's interview, some of it, and then we go into that. We'll be on the radio side. Now, what I encourage you to do is go to baseball TV, get that $14.99 per month. It's a great deal. Get you all the home and away games, all the streams. You can go back and watch the All-Star game. You can watch Home Run Derby. You want to watch last Friday night's game in Lincoln, or I don't know, John Hernandez's walk-off Sunday a week ago. It's there, and they're there. But what we were able to do last weekend in Lincoln, you get the dual stream. You get our call on the video. That capability's there from Lincoln. Now, of course, here tonight, Lake Country will be here. Sam Matheny will be here. He'll be able to have his call over their video or over our video. And our video will have our audio over it as well. It's called a dual stream. That's on baseball TV, and that's $14.99 per month. Now, what I will encourage you to do is join us on MixLR, our radio broadcast, because all the bells and whistles are there. Pre-game interviews, pre-game shows with all the we're going to talk about the Monarchs of 1933. I'm also going to tell you about a controversial situation that happened with the Monarchs, and this was not uncommon, but where some loosely based rules caused teams like the Monarchs to protest and play games and protest. There was some very odd things, and the reason why J.L. Wilkinson and Rube Foster pushed so hard for a organized Negro League, much like the big leagues, because they wouldn't have shenanigans go on that went on in this story I'm going to tell you tonight in Monarchs 101 with DV. Also this weekend, I'm going to dive into a couple more players and get you set up for that, because next week we go to Milwaukee. We're going to discuss a lot of the history of the Milwaukee Bears and baseball of the Monarchs history in Wisconsin, which we did last time at Lake Country. We found out a lot of great stuff. Well, those stories are always going to be on our radio side because they begin early in the broadcast on our radio. So what I suggest you do is get both MixLR, the app on your phone, and get the $14.99 American Association site, and you can listen to the pregame, watch the video game with our audio with it, and then if you want to chat on our interactive chat, just mute the MixLR app and chat with us while you're watching the game. A lot of folks do that. We'd love to have you do that. So what I suggest, I'll help you do that. So your reminders tonight on the broadcast to wrap this thing up here, brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company, 6 locations in Kansas City, which, by the way, I need to get down there and do a show live from there. And maybe I'll have my wife help me with that this week. But in lieu of that, let's give you this quickly here. Hold on. There we go. Baseball TV tonight, and that'll begin right around about between 20 till and 10 till, somewhere in there, you're going to see the video will go along with the pregame festivities. And then once the first pitch comes around, you'll be right in the broadcast and hear Jackson and I come your way tonight. And then the MixLR, which is right here. There it is, right there. That's where you'll find the radio broadcast. That begins at 6:30. We'll play Kansas City Lights by Steve Warner, be ready to go. And also the post game, which has Joe's comments and Jackson's post game interviews as well. That all coming tonight on the radio side. So there's your broadcast tonight. Again, at 6 o'clock, we are going to do an update at 6 o'clock, maybe a few minutes early. Thank you very much for the kind words there. You got it. We try to bring both in. We try to combine both in. And if you guys, we try to chat. And then, of course, there's one more place to watch. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, you get the booth cam on YouTube. I haven't really pushed that enough, but it's on. And what the booth cam is, it's a shot of us, Jackson and I, or me, or whoever in the booth of the broadcast. You get the same broadcast when you get the radio, you're getting the shot of the booth. So if I get excited for a home run, you're going to see it. That's the booth cam. So actually 3 places to catch the Monarchs games on our Monarchs broadcast network. Appreciate you as well for your kind words. But yeah, we try to mix it all in tonight and get you guys ready for the Monarchs. And those Lake Country Dockhounds, their first ever visit here to Kansas City, and should be fun to see my friend Jim Bennett and Dave Nielsen, a couple of guys I know from their time in Australia, and 2 people I feel very, very close to, very much love for those 2 gentlemen, and dear, dear mates of mine as well. And should be fun. Tomorrow night, I'm trying to get a friend of mine on, if you will, join me, Mick Wern, who's coming in from Melbourne, and hoping to have him join us and talk about the Australian League tomorrow night in the broadcast. If he wants to come on, I throw that out there to him. And, of course, Jackson will be with us tonight here from Legends Field. Again, coming up on Facebook Live around 6 o'clock, we'll update you on all the roster moves today. If there's anything else this afternoon, which I do expect more to come this afternoon, I'll get you fully ready for that, get you caught up, and also get you ready for the starting lineups in our broadcast tonight on MixLR and on AA Baseball TV. All right. Fresh one of the box, right? Not a bad one, I guess. No highlights, no video, but we got it through, and I'm running my phone off internet on my phone, which is good. We had no problems with that. That's all good, which means we're ready for some 1, 2, 3 go Monarchs, so I can get my lunch in me. How about it? You guys ready? All right. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this off. Here we go. All right, here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. Go Monarchs. I'll see you in the broadcast. Night, everybody.